Samichlaus Classic.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one here today that is so strong it just offered me out. This is a strong beer, believe me. It's brewed by a company called Eggenberg, or Schloss Eggenberg, which basically means Castle Eggenberg. And they're based in Austria, of all places, in a place called Wortsdorf. And this has been a beer that's been taken over. Originally, this was brewed by Hurlemans, and they've been barking at people going past the house all afternoon. Fucking idiots. Anyway, enough about the dogs. This is a beer that was originally brewed by Hurlemans. You must have heard of Hurlemans. They're the Swiss company. They used to do Hurlemans Lager, which was, for a time, quite popular in Wales. I remember drinking it in the 90s, very early 90s in Wales. Quite nice, actually. And then, for a time, it was taken over by Shepherd Neame. I think they brewed it for a while, and you can't get it at all now. I haven't seen it anywhere in this country at all. But what happened was, Hurlemans closed down, I think, in 1997. And this company took on their Samichlaus. Now, Samichlaus is the it's the Swiss for St. Nicholas. And of course, St. Nicholas is a Christmas type saint, if you know what I mean. Santa Claus, it comes from Klaus, obviously, is a German name, and it's short for Nicholas. That's where that comes from. And Samichlaus is the Swiss German for St. Nicholas. And the other connection with this is it's only brewed one day of the year, and that day is the 6th of December, which is St. Nicholas's Day. And it's quite a rare beer, to be honest, because it's only brewed once a year on one day of the year, and it's one of them beers that you can leave for a good while and it will ferment. This goes through 10 months of lagering. So that's quite unique. And I think from what I've been reading about it and my research on it, it's brewed in the style of a Bavarian Dopplebock, which is good. Now, this was first brewed in 1979 by Hurlemans for 1980. So, as I say, it's lagered for 10 months. So they brew it, then they store it for 10 months, so it goes through a fermentation. They say it's got another fermentation going on in the bottle, so if you leave it, it's going to get more complex. But 10 months lagering, that is a long time. And I think this must be one of the strongest ABV beers, lager, bottom fermented type beers on the market today. It's 14%. Now that is fucking hefty. I know I've had quadruples that have been 11 and 12%. Never a 14% beer. I think there goes a certain point where if you're putting too much ABV into a beer, then it is going to be a bit overpowering. Now, I know that, I think, is it Brewdog have done a 60% proof beer or something like that. And loads of reviewers have done it on the channel, and I am fucked if I'm going to drink that shit. There is no point. I just don't want to. I don't think I will get any enjoyment. Now, that might be a very insular statement. You know, I should be open to everything, but Brewdog have brewed that just to get one up on the German company who had the strongest beer. Now, I think if you're doing that, you're going to concentrate more on the ABV rather than flavour. And if you're going to do that, then I really am not interested, to be honest. But, you know, if you want to go and try it, crack on. Not for me, though. It's not my kind of thing. Anyway, let's stop gassing and let's get this opened up. Before we do, I'll give you a little bit about it. It is a 330ml bottle. Thank fuck for that. 14%. Here is the label. It is the Samichlaus Classic. Now they do other beers as well in this brewery. They do the full range of German beers, and everything is in German. Oh, hang on, is that English? Yeah, brewed only on December the 6th. Samichlaus is aged for 10 months before bottling. Yeah, so it's basically what I said. Serve with hardy, robust dishes. I'm not going to eat nothing with this. I should do, really. I've had not very much to eat today, and I had a skinful last night. I was drinking, what was I drinking? I was drinking Samuel Adams and Bishop's Finger. It was a Shepherd Neame night tonight. I find myself drinking more and more Shepherd Neame beers now because they're local and they're cheap. So there you go. Anyway, let's get this open. Let's see what's going on. Right, wish me luck on this one. There is the cap. That is a really nice cap. I do like that. Very artistic, and I'm assuming that is St. Nicholas, the old beardy fella. Never trust a person with a beard. Fucking wrong uns, from my experience anyway. Right, let's get it in the glass. This is the type of glass they have got advertised on their site as it's being poured into, so who am I to argue with that? I'm going to give this an aggressive pour because at 14% that head is not going to last long. Now, I don't know whether the Austrians are subject to the Reinheitsgebot, but let's assume not. And there's sugar potentially in there. That glass is fucking filthy. There it isn't. That's a really nice colour. That is. It looks good. What are we getting on the nose? Oh my good God. That smells absolutely gorgeous. It's like a Dopplebock on steroids. Very sweet malt. Dates and prunes, really fruity. It smells like they've just turned the flavour up on a Dopplebock to the maximum. See, this head is dissipating, and it will do that with the amount of alcohol in there. It's just going to get absorbed by there, so I'm just going to forget the head. I'm just going to savour these aromas. It really is fruity, dark fruit, like prunes, black cherry, raisin. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. It smells fantastic. Let's get it down the hatch. What would I say? Would I say Prost, or what would I say in Austria? I know they had that one bollocked little Charlie Chaplin look-alike. I'm not going to do that on camera. The video will get taken down, wouldn't it? I'm just going to say cheers or bottoms up, whatever you want to do. That looks lovely. I'm just looking at the colour of that. That is fucking gorgeous looking. Right, let's get it down the hatch. Wish me luck. 14%. Here we go. Oh my God, that is sweet. That's got sugar in it. God, the alcohol warming in that. Jesus, I can feel that going right into the pit of my stomach. Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that there is sugar on this. And I'm just trying to see if the ingredients list it in there. I've got it in every fucking language, but no, I can't see the ingredients on there. But I'm more or less certain there's sugar in that, because the sweetness on it is massive. It's gone through that secondary fermentation and a fermentation in the bottle as well, and I think you've got to add sugar to that to get it that sweet. However, it is nice. Big ethanol or spirit alcohol on that. Then it's all about the fruit. sweet fruit. So I would say fig, plum, damson maybe. Getting that, but there's that big spirit alcohol backbone in it, and there is a sweetness to it, and it's bordering on the sickly, if you know what I mean. Now, if you get a Belgian quad, there is sugar in that, invert sugar, and I certainly don't get the sickly type sweetness to it, or the cloying sweetness, if you like. It's more of a molasses type of flavour. This is a lot, it's like sweet fruit, if you can imagine that. But there's a caramel malt to it as well, and that's there too. This is where the Dopplebock style comes in. I've got to take it easy, I'm fucking necking a 14% beer here. See, the head's gone completely, but it smells, it's almost like a sweet sherry, if you can imagine that, or a fortified wine. But as I say, you've got that caramel malt underneath to remind you that it's a beer. It's quite nice, I have to say, it's not bad. I definitely couldn't drink too much of this though. That sweetness is just a little bit overpowering. Quite reminiscent of a barley wine. Now, I know you've got the two different styles of fermentation going on here. You've got top fermentation, which is what barley wine is, or how barley wine is done, and this is bottom fermented. But they do share a lot in common. There is a lot of that caramel malt, a lot of the sweetness that you get in a barley wine, and there is a big fruit on this, as you get in a good barley wine. Now, I recently tried the Ridgeway barley wine. It was an imperial red ale, which effectively was a barley wine in my opinion, and it's reminiscent of this, but this is just so flavour intense. It really is good. I like it, but I could not drink too much of it. It is way too sweet. But one glass, and you know what, I can feel it going to my head already. And I've not had much to eat today, but yeah, I can feel that going to my head already. But I like it, I really do like it. I can see what they're saying about drink this with a hearty meal, because it would be nice with like meat and potato, a typical Austrian or Bavarian style meal. But yeah, it's good. I like it. That's not bad. So what is the verdict on Samichlaus Classic? Well, I really am starting to feel that now. This is my first beer of the day. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and yeah, it's pretty strong. It's 14.5%. So you've got to pick and choose your times when if you're gonna try this. And I quite like it. Very flavour intense, lots of caramel malt, lots of ethanol, lots of fruit, dark fruit, and lots of sweetness as well. The sweetness may be a little bit too much for some people. I don't mind it. However, I wouldn't drink too much of this. I think one glass would be enough. This is one of them ales to sip and savour, not one to sort of neck and drink like a pint. You just couldn't do it. You would be sick everywhere with that sweetness. But I like it. I don't mind it at all. If you like Doppelbocks, you may like that. This is like a Dopplebock with the flavour turned up to 11 and a little bit of sweetness added on top. But it ain't bad. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I like it that much. If you can get hold of it, I recommend it. I think I might have got this from Beer Sniffers. Now, let me confirm this and I'll tell you Yes, I did. Whoa, here we go. Yeah, that was £5.43. Now, if you can get hold of it, I still think it's on Beer Sniffers. If you can get hold of it and you're willing to pay £5.43, then do it, because if you like Doppelbocks, this will probably be the most intense Doppelbock you'll ever taste. If you're a bit strapped for cash, then I would say don't go for this. Go for something like the Ridgeway Red Ale, and you may get a bit of an inclination as to what it's like. But that is so intense. It really is. Intense sweetness, intense flavour, intense ethanol. But it's nice. So I'm going to give that an 8.5 out of 10, and I'll recommend it. And that's including the price as well. I'm knocking marks off for the price, because that is, I know it's rare and I know it's hard to get hold of, but it's still a lot to pay out for a beer. And remember, beer is working class champagne.